Menteri Kena ke Sarkar Pedeng Dr. Jitendra Singh hal khatlai trik naitung. Ula pelipat ba ya ke National Conference ke Baarsni halor ke Next Gen Administrative and E-Government Forms hashlo. Laya don lang Menteri rang ba ke jela Konrad ke sangma bat ki he officer ke Sarkar Pedeng bat jela. Habakran Dr. Jitendra Singh ula ong bakini ke National Conference ki penklanyi ka jinga trilang hapedeng ke Sarkar Pedeng bat ki jela ban penbhaya ka sanshar khadar. Ula ajinga ro ya ka Meghalaya halor ka New Shillong Administrative City bat ka jing penya ya ka Digital Governance ka ba ong ka long ka nuksa ka babha. Ula pentip ru ba ka DARPG kala pediang palat arpasan lak tali ki jing ujwar ki bala penbait da ka ba pendan kam ya ka AI bat balawan raru ya ka chatbot ha tali ki ktien na lor ka digital life certificate bat ka face authentication ki bala pensuk ki pat ba panyo jing shakri. Haba ajing keren ukon rat ki sangma ula banjur ya ka jing dan kam banwan ra ki jing kala hakur kontrekam ban penklan ka jing shakri pat ba. Ulak doru ya ka CM Connect kum ka nuksa jo ka jing pendan kam ya ka teknologi ban penbet ya ka jing ujor pat ba bat ula ong baka thong ka bakong san ka day ban ai ka jing shakri ka babha bat ban wanra jing kala ha ka jing im jong ki pat ba.
I'm once again back in Shillong. It's great being here, but even more gratifying is to share the platform with you and to be in your company for a while. And I would not sound officially correct if I say that the choice of this venue was also motivated to a great extent by Mr. Conrad Sangma being the Chief Minister of Meghalaya. Why holding these national conferences in different parts of the country? In fact, we started this because I just suggested to the then secretary, I said, can we move out of Vigyan Bhavan? Because most of these events were actually held in Vigyan Bhavan. It's very easy to hold them because everything is in place. You just have to book the hall. And then we started moving out. We have gone to Ladakh as far as the north. We got to Chennai, Hyderabad, northeast. Of course, we went up to Etah. And I said, we should not be one of those touching Guwahati and saying that they came back from north. And many of the officers traveled to Itanagar for the first time. So we have gone to different states holding national conference, but at a different venue. And that has given a different kind of a flavor, also enabled us to strike personal rapport with the officers, the chief secretaries of different states. And that is how this has picked up, and I'm glad that it has become very popular over the years. In fact, many of the officers from different states complained that they wanted to come. The state government had to leave them. And in fact, in north, we even went up to Katada. And many of the officers came as much for Mata Vaishno Devi as for the administrative reforms. But anyway, that also, as Cornerji was mentioning, gives you an opportunity to improve upon yourself and to introspect on what you are, where you stand and what you need to do. Now, Prime Minister Modi has a special place for Northeast, as Mr. Conrad Sangma was mentioning, that I have been in Northeast because I was there for 7 years. I traveled every nook and corner. But I am also witness to the fact that Prime Minister traveled to Northeast almost 80 times. And when COVID happened, he had already traveled about 60 times. And I said in a lighter way, I said if the lockdown didn't happen, he would have hit a century. And once, with tongue in cheek, I said he has traveled more than total number of times put together by all the preceding Prime Ministers, including the immediate predecessor, who actually happened to be a member of Parliament from Assam and Northeast. So with that kind of prioritization being given to the region by the Prime Minister or the head of the government, obviously, the entire machinery and the entire hierarchy also places it on priority, because that's a signal for everybody to follow. And if you recall, even last month in his Man Ki Baat, he highlighted the living root bridges from Meghalaya. And Chief Secretary is nodding. Means it was acknowledgement of his efforts and the efforts of the government headed by the Chief Secretary and the Chief Minister. And particularly in relation to the tribes, the Khasi tribes, the Jantia tribes. The Chief Minister was mentioning about the various reforms undertaken by Meghalaya. I think one of the opportunities offered by these conferences being held in different places is that we learn from the best practices from each other. And therefore Meghalaya has also come out with a concept. I was actually also complimenting him when we were driving here, the new Shillong administrative city. So I think this is a good complex. In fact, it was tried by Prime Minister Modi when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat to have everything in the same premises. And now he is trying to replicate it in the union capital as well. So this concept, accompanied by the digital model of governance that is thought to be created over here, is something which was possibly not visualized a decade or so back. So what has changed in Northeast under the Modi regime is actually to be seen, to be believed, it will be appreciated by those who saw what it was. When we came here for the first time, as far as Shillong is concerned, the most popular demand was that you increase the number of commercial helicopter flights from Guwahati to Shillong. And that was the demand put across by the tourists. Today it is the other way around. Even if you have a chopper there, tourists prefer to drive down to Meghalaya, to Shillong from Guwahati, because the journey is so scenic and the experience is so gratifying. And all this has changed over the last 10-12 years because of the high prioritization given by the government.
At the very outset, I would like to once again thank and welcome Dr. Jitendra Singh ji for having selected Shillong to host this particular national conference. Friends, today's national conference on a very important aspect of e-governance reforms, overall administrative reforms, I think is something that we all are very, very familiar with. The biggest challenge that comes when we are trying to make a difference and improve things is the entire resistance to change. The entire aspect of getting comfortable with the way things have been going on in the past. And sometimes having a small concern, or even I may use the word fear, to even propose a change, because the change may actually turn out to be not that positive and nobody wants to take the blame. With this background of trying to change and improve administration, bring in the reforms we would like to, this basic aspects of, if I may say, human nature, and obviously the culture of administration, I think is something that we all must try to overcome. So therefore, I think the first thing we start with, and this is something that I've always shared, especially with my team, is that let us not be adverse to change. We must work towards figuring out how to improve things. That's really what we're trying to do. How to make it simpler, how to make it more efficient, how to make it very easy for the public, and remove the bottlenecks, remove the different hurdles that sometimes are just lying there unnecessarily. I was just traveling with the Honorable Minister. We were coming down from the Air Force base. And I was sharing with him that apart from the 4-laning that has been done from Upper Shillong side, very soon we'll be having the 4-laning from the Rilbong Junction, I mean those of you who know it, where the museum, Rhino Museum is. And we'll go through Anjali Point, Laban Junction, all the way to Varik. It's about 1 kilometer. But there is a lot of army land that's there. And so we need to get the NOC. We are very close to getting it. In fact, we have already verbally agreed to it. It just has to be minuted. And that's how things are in our system. It's just so massive and just so complicated that sometimes there are so many rules which actually we don't even need. So let me get to the point. I think the point is very simple. You must make a start somewhere. And trust me, it is not that difficult. And sometimes changes are not about big changes. It's not about a massive decision or a major rule that is being changed. Sometimes it's just a small system within your office itself of how you cut down procedures within your system itself. And slowly and steadily you realize that that same system is actually applicable maybe for the entire department or maybe for the entire government. So my first suggestion would be, you must start at your own level, at your own individual self and in your own office structure. And obviously try to improve things. Remember, bringing a massive change requires a lot of inputs, which of course should happen. I'm not saying it shouldn't. But even every small change is something that will add, and share it. And I hope that in this particular conference, we don't just share about big changes that we're trying to do. Even the small changes that we make a difference. But then what we realized, and what I felt, was it's not just enough to have a technology that will help you connect with the people. You need to have a system and a process in which you can make it very easy for people to connect. So I just decided one day, well, the easiest way for me to connect with the people is just go to the people and ask them, what do you want? And just ask them, what is your problem? And have the entire team, all the directors of all the departments, all the deputy commissioners on the stage with me, while there are 2,000-3,000 people asking questions. And like an assembly question and hour session, the officials answer the question there and then. That's why I was saying that some people don't like it, because maybe the officials don't like it too much, being put on the spot. But I enjoy it because I'm like the speaker of the house, you know. I just ask the question that I please answer, and I moderate. But this entire system has actually created a sense of kind of connect, which I've been wanting to do with the people, of not just me, but the entire government machinery to the people at large. And the suggestions that come in for these CM Connect programs are actually ideas which help us to reform and bring changes in departments, resolve issues. And the CM Connect program happens anywhere. You know, I keep telling people, all these reforms will mean nothing. Technology is only as good as it serves the purpose. If you as an individual are not going to have the heart and mind to actually care about the individuals who are there in front of you, that are you able to help them? Are you able to make a difference in their lives? Are you actually caring for them? And actually, are you smiling while you are working? Or do you have a grumpy face while you're working? I think the reform starts right there. It starts with the small things that you do. And I think if every single official and every single politician, I think will start feeling that, I think we're looking at a major reform taking place